What's going on, everybody? Tonight, we're going to talk about The Flash and what I think about the Flashpoint trailer. What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mr. Shenanigans, in here by himself tonight. If you have not noticed, Will and Brent make the mistake of leaving me alone yet again. But before we get into our shenanigans tonight, what we're going to do is want you to like, subscribe, and follow us so you can, get more content. Come in and see what our content is, and hopefully we give you what you want. Now, tonight we're going to talk about this Flash trailer that premiered brand new during the Super Bowl. By the way, I didn't care. Neither one of my team went in there. I didn't care about who won, so we good on that. But I honestly think this was one of the better commercials of the Super Bowl and something I was highly looking forward to because I wanted to see how they could possibly do Flashpoint. And for those who do not know, Flashpoint is one of arguably the greatest comic book adaptations for the animated side of movies. It's right up there with the new Spider-Man that came out into Spider-Verse, and the new one is coming out. It should be just as good. But we want to talk about this Flashpoint, and with me being the DC head and how I think it translated over to the brief scenes that we saw in the trailer. So, for those that do not know what Flashpoint was, Flashpoint centered around Barry Allen, who traveled back in time to prevent his mother's death, which, as we all know, when you mess with stuff in the past, it affects the future. Now, what it did to the Flashpoint future in the animated movie, it it made a lot of major changes. For instance, Batman. One of the biggest changes was the parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne did not die in the alley. Bruce died in the alley, which made Thomas Wayne become the gun-toting alcoholic Batman, and his mother became Joker. Another big difference was the Atlanteans and the Amazons were at war with each other, and it was really destroying the Earth. Justice League didn't really exist. It was a lot of just everybody's backstory got changed. There weren't really people that were the same as you know them. So I myself like alternate realities like this because it gives a fresh take on all your characters. So let's talk about some of the differences that I saw in the trailer and what I know from the movie. So one of the main differences is it will not be Thomas Wayne as the main Batman. It will be Michael Keaton. So, and this kind of falls into what I believe they wanted to do because in Michael Keaton's universe, there are technically that we know of no metas. If we remember Batman 1989, he was the only real superhero that was around. And this, I think, falls into what they're trying to do, even though in Flashpoint, they were still heroes, they were still villains, there was, still metahumans. But now I see what they tried to do, along with Superman not existing. It was actually Kara, who is now the superpower being who crashed in Metropolis and was captured by the government instead of Clark. I will say that I like the way that they did it. They did her reveal the same way that it was in the animated movie. She was kept in the room under red sun. If we remember by the trailer, Barry was walking through and there was a lot of red light on. That was the red sun radiation that they were using to keep Kara depowered. And when they found her, she was all skeleton. And then, when they get out and escape, when Keaton and Barry was outside, he, had his hand up and did this, and now she's floating in the air. And you can see now she looks a lot more healthy because of the yellow sun that, is now, giving her powers, and she just proceeds to work everybody on there. One thing I was wondering about that facility, is that the same facility that we saw in Black Adam? Was that the same facility that housed him? I know that's not canon anymore, but it kind of makes sense that it's the same type of environment. Another difference that I noticed that there are two Barry Allens. In Flashpoint, there was only one. We're gonna call them our Barry and past Barry, because if we go Barry 1 and Barry 2, then past Barry would technically be number 1 since he technically was the first one. and then our Barry will be number two. So we're gonna say our Barry and past Barry. Um, so when in the animated movie, when Flash went back in time, he took over as being the only Barry. He literally just superseded himself. Now, when our Barry goes back in time, that Barry still exists, which I don't understand how that's possible, but I'm sure they're going to say something because remember the scene where he stops in front of his house and the young him rolls off. I want to say that's an echo from his memory because if you remember when the kid ran out, it was daytime and then it just automatically switched to night. I think that was more of an echo than an actual thing that was actually happening. But I'm kind of interested to see how this works out because the one thing I need to know is there going to be a reverse Flash? Because as we know, Reverse Flash is the reason that Flash came into existence because he was the one that went back and killed Barry's mother. So I need to know how this is going to be worked out if you don't have Eobard Thawne, which I think you need. Um, but let's get back to the two Barrys. In this instance, what it looks like is our Barry has his powers, past Barry does not have his powers. And this is another veer off from the animated movie that I noticed. In the animated movie, Thomas Wayne helped Barry, who was powerless at the time, get his powers back by strapping him into a chair, having chemicals around him, and getting him struck by lightning. What it looks like in this one is Michael Keaton uses the Batwing as some metallic rope to recreate the chemical bath, and the lightning actually travels through our Barry and gets into past Barry, and that gives him his powers, which I can understand because, that's how Wally West was made. He had a chemical bath also, just like Barry. So it kind of makes sense, but mm, I don't know if I'm sold on that. And past Barry's suit, his flash suit, is actually a repurposed bat suit that Michael Keaton doesn't wear anymore. So it's kind of interesting. And then the big reveal on who I think, possibly the big bad villain, which is Zod. So this is happening during the Man of Steel movie when Zod attacks Earth, which brings up another question. How did Zod know about Earth? Because if we remember in Man of Steel, Cal activated a beacon which alerted Zod about Earth. But there's no Cal here. There's no Clark Kent. No beacon was activated. So how does he know to come down to Earth? Was it something to do when Kara got her powers? Did maybe it was putting on her suit? Did something? I don't know. I'm hoping that'll be explained, but as we can see, it's going to take both Flashes, Batman, and Supergirl. Now let's talk about the different Batman we saw. When during the Zod fight, you see the Bat Cycle rolling through the city. I kind of thought that might have been a hint at Christian Bale, hoping it would be because I don't think you can never have too many alternate universe Batman running around in a movie. But the more I look at it, it was a Ben Affleck Batman as seen while he was driving. You did get it the key point of looking at him in his cowl, so you can see that is actually Michael Keaton. I also want to give a shout out to the old blue and gray bat suit that they had that they had Ben Affleck in. I love the blue and gray look. Um, I think they need to do more of that, but I still don't understand how this is all going to work out. Um, but you know what? Since we're talking about bat suits, let's look at the bat suits. If you saw it, this didn't appear in the Super Bowl trailer, but it did appear in the TV trailer that came out. Right now, these are all the bat suits that are out. If you look at the one in the middle, that's the one that Michael Keaton is going to primarily be in. Now, if we go around the room real quickly, if you start on the right side of the bat suit, you see the bat suit with the two guns. I believe that's a shout out to the Thomas Wayne bat suit because he was known to carry guns and shoot and kill everybody he wanted to. Then we get to the blue and gray version. What I like, the one next to that, if you look at it, that's the original 1989 bat suit from Batman Returns. Remember at the end, it was real beat up. That's that one. The one next to it looks like it's the the bat suit from the very first movie. Then you got the scuba bat suit, which I find hilarious. I don't know why, why he would need all that, but and then on the last one, it looks like Nightmare Batman. I'm not too sure about that, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. And I'm leaning more to that actually being Nightmare. Um, Some of the things that I noticed that I don't know if you actually noticed, if we remember the scene where the two Barrys were pulling up to Wayne Manor in the cab, if you looked at the cab's license plate, it said 820 OA. Uh, those are some little unknown facts that in 1982, the Flash traveled back to view his own origin story in his book. And of course, OA is the home of the Green Lanterns, which they're doing a TV series with, which I'm looking forward to mainly because John Stewart. And then if you look also on the taxi cab number was 163. 163 in the Flash. That particular comic was the first meeting of Reverse Flash. So that's all. That's one thing that's making me think, okay, I got to have Reverse Flash in here somewhere. Um, but one thing to give me pause is maybe past Barry might actually turn out to be Reverse Flash, because if we look at him in the trailer, he wears a lot of yellow. And we all know that Reverse Flash color is the opposite of Barry. Barry is red with hints of yellow. If Reverse Flash is yellow with hints of red. So I know that might be, reaching, but that's kind of what I hope. I kind of hope that this happens, because in the movie, the Flash couldn't escape the past because Reverse Flash was siphoning off his speed force. So he couldn't get the speed up to escape. So I don't know how this is going to work in that movie. I know they're making major changes. I will say I'm kind of excited for what I see. I don't want to see too much, but I want to see more. Either way, I'm going to go see this movie. Um, I believe that's it for tonight, because I don't have Will to pick on because he's off in Hawaii doing stuff. And Brent is just, who knows what Brent does this time of night. I don't think we really want to know. So again, if you like the content we're giving up, like and subscribe, and we will talk to you later. And with Will not being here, I can take my time and literally say Iron Man sucks. Holla!